Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. This update we are going to check out Near Protocol's price charts, and in the short term, despite the recent move on the downside, I am actually now able to identify some very much bullish signs suggesting maybe this uptrend starting from the lowest low down here about $1.8 is going to continue for quite some time. Again, despite the recent move on the downside, which I even think this thing right in here is going to be part of the bullish process. So are you ready? Let's dive in. First things first, if you remember the last time that we talked about Near, we were right around this area, and the idea was that seems like that we are having an ABC zigzag, which kind of got confirmed the moment that in Near we took the height of our B leg. So we can say this move up is going to continue and hopefully is going to be in form of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why was this so important for us? Because if you want to argue that we're gonna have our final low round, let's say this region, maybe, I don't know, this is like a very important support, then okay, in terms of Elliott Waves, you have to be able to find off of the lowest low a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave. This specific example is called an impulsive movement. Rules for it are we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, wave 3 is just not allowed to be the smallest wave. And for our sub waves, you probably know the story in case that you are a regular viewer. 5 wave up into wave 1, 3, and 5, and for wave 2 and 4 we can have different counts. Let's say ABC into 4 and like a WXY into wave 2. Now let's go on the live chart and see what is happening, and maybe it's actually best to go on like 5-minute time frame. There we go. So I think now it is safe to say that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave to about this point. This is ABC down, and this is yet another 5 wave on the upside. So I'm trying to tell you that this is one on a higher degree. This is wave 2. Wave 3, the end of it is actually going to be in here. Correction for 4, another move up into wave 5. And this is the key, pay attention. When you go on some higher time frames, I think you really cannot deny the fact that in here seems like we are having a pitch perfect, clear cut 5 wave impulsive structure, which is a great sign indicating we have actually hit our final low in Near Protocol. Question though, is this guaranteed to be in play? The answer is no. There is no certainty in any market at any given moment. We are only talking about different possibilities. We don't really know 100% what is going to happen in the future. For that matter, I don't even know whether in the next couple of hours I'm going to be alive or not. So again, I think we can all agree that we really cannot say anything for sure, but based on what we are seeing in this area, I think it makes sense to argue that we are actually looking bullish, and the bullish case should be probably our primary scenario, indicating after this move down is over, we are going to have another move on the upside. Now, if you remember, also in the previous video, we actually predicted a move down coming in Near Protocol anytime soon. Why? Because, question, what is going to happen after a 5 wave up if you want to go according to the most bullish scenario? You know it, we are going to have a move down, but in terms of the characteristic of that move, we can say we're going to have hopefully a slow and choppy move down relative to this move on the upside, and it's going to be a correction structure, and after it's over we can have a big move up. So question is, what is going on in this phase? And I think in order to check the sub waves, we need to actually go on a less busy chart, maybe from trading view, because this chart usually has better looking candlesticks. There we go. So first things first, let's zoom on more and see what is happening in this specific phase down. Okay, why is it that the chart is not loading? I don't really know. Sorry about that one. Okay, in my view, this is probably from this point to what here, 5 down into a correction for wave B, and another 5 wave on the downside into our C leg. Also seems like this is an ABC on the upside, and starting from this point, I'm thinking about a 1, 2, 3 correction for 4. I don't know, let's say to about this point, or yes, preferably to about this point into wave 4, another move into wave 5. So I'm trying to tell you essentially a correction structure up started in here, not from this point but actually from here, and it's going to be, you know it, an ABC in form of a running flat, since in the last phase up into our C leg, we failed to take the height of our A leg. Now, why is this important? Because in this phase down in here, I'm thinking this is 1, 2, for 5-wave impulsive structure, and what do you have so far? 5 down, correction up. So it was sort of kind of a given that we're gonna have this move on the downside. And what is going on in terms of the subwaves at the moment? I am thinking about maybe like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we are probably going to have another decent move down in the short term into wave 5. In order to, this is the key, pay attention on a higher degree, complete the subwaves for, you know what I'm about to say, an ABC zigzag, which will be an insanely bullish setup. Why an insanely bullish setup? Because let's go on 15-minute time frame. Okay, what did we have in here? Well, at least according to our primary case, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this, my friends, makes me argue in near protocol. Maybe this is gonna be a wave 1, correction for wave 2, and then we're going to be on our way up to have a massive move into wave 3 and 4 and 5. And once more, I'm going to say it, in terms of Elliott waves, wave 3 is known to be quite a strong and sharp move on the upside, and that's why we can expect some exciting price action in near protocol. I don't know, maybe like in the next month or two. So overall, we are definitely looking bullish. The question is though, can we have some other counts in here? The answer is yes, but even those ones are actually bullish. But before we get into all that, let me tell you something very important. You see, if you want to argue that we're gonna have our final top around here this time, then okay, show me off of the highest side a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in order for me to sort of kind of flip bearish and argue, you know what, maybe this is the beginning of a new downtrend. However, recently in near protocol, we did something very, very important. And if I just hide everything, okay, as you can see, in this last phase up, we actually took this important high, but at the same time, we failed to take the highest high in here. So why is this so important? Because now finding a 5-wave in here is going to be sort of kind of challenging to a degree that is not going to be my primary case. And that is going to once more make me say, you know what, this is actually now confirmed as a correction structure, suggesting our move up in near protocol most likely, again, most likely, it's just not over yet. So this was yet another bullish sign that I wanted to share with you guys. Now let's talk about different counts that we are allowed to have in here on some higher degrees. Okay, let's remember. So here's the situation. You are allowed to consider a possibility suggesting this is one, sure, correction for wave 2. Now to about this point is going to be the end of our wave 3, followed by, let's say, maybe like a WXY into 4 and another 5-wave up into wave 5. However, here's the situation. I'm not really going to have this thing as my primary bullish scenario. Why is that? I'm going to tell you why in about a minute, but before that, let's talk about this. You see, even if you want to consider having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a complete 5-wave to about this height right in here, then okay, even according to that scenario, what are we going to have next? Odds are a correction structure on the downside, which is once more a fantastic bullish setup, indicating, you know what, on a higher degree. This is 1, this is 2, and what's next? Yes, big move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. So even this thing is going to be the bullish scenario, but why is it that I shouldn't really consider it as my primary one? Because if I just hide everything, okay, as you can see, in this phase up in near protocol, we actually didn't take this high. And why should we care about this? Because sure, you do have an argument for this 5-wave up to be considered as like a truncated wave 5. That's absolutely fine. However, truncated waves are actually quite rare. So I don't really think that I should consider this thing as my primary scenario. And instead, I am going to argue, you know what, in here, odds are we have completed a 5-wave to about the highs, followed by a WXY, and well, on a higher degree, this is one. This is probably a complete correction structure down into wave 2, and what's next? Hopefully, a massive move up into wave 3, 4, 5, which is basically just like a tad bit more of a bullish scenario relative to the previous count. So in your protocol, I think we are looking optimistic, and here's the key point. Even if we get a move down, and in that move we take this low, which again, I want to be very clear, it's not really my primary case at the moment, but you know, even if we do it, I don't really think that we should like effectively immediately flip bearish. No, I think there is going to be still room to be optimistic in here and hope for some more upward price action. So for now, let's go with this count as long as we are not proven otherwise. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in here. Anyway, If you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.